never done shows about Kamala. They never focused on Kamala. Even Kamala's whole election was on attacking Trump, not about how she has failed the American people on the border, the taxes, the inflation. You name it. The war in Ukraine, the war in the Middle East.
Yeah, but they
the
didn't care
pushing of
about that.
Agenda 25.
I mean, Project 2020. Yeah, that's the only thing they wanted.
Sorry, I keep saying 25. Why am I? What is? And then they tried to flip it and say Trump is Agenda 25 or something, wasn't it?
No, they was talking about Project 2025, and they don't even want to look at like I just seen some earlier. They said that the founder of the Heritage Foundation voted for Kamala. So it's like all of these things that people are not understanding. You don't really have no skin in the game. They say your vote counts when they're not when there's a force is blocking the fraud. But they gotta understand too that it ain't just about the numbers. The people from the voting to the electoral college, they all see what this world is doing. They all see that. And because of that is why we're having these issues, because they're not educated. And I kept saying that. That's why I kept saying it. I said, and I kept telling Victor and them that when I kept using the word ignorant just means you're uninformed. And then when you add in biasness and one-sidedness, and now you want to play this side versus that side, you're only playing yourself worse and worse. You're not helping. You're only hurting yourself. And that's the thing that I was trying to like really tell them, and Pumpkin and all that, like, yo, y'all really are uninformed. Because if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't have said and didn't know what I was talking about. That's why I kept saying, I said, y'all don't, and then the only thing they could do is say, oh, you don't know what I know. Because that's like, again, if I said you don't know the Pledge of Allegiance, but you know the Pledge of Allegiance, and you can easily say, boom, I can recite it right now. I can show you that I know what the Pledge of Allegiance is. And not only that, there's nothing else extra you can say about the Pledge of Allegiance. But they never did that because they knew they didn't know. And again, that's why Victor kept saying, you heard a conspiracy, not a conspiracy. That shows you was ignorant from the jump because it's documented in the United Nations themselves. Agenda 21 was started by them. How is that a conspiracy? And you claim to be so United Nations informed. Your parents was involved with the United Nations. So if it's a conspiracy, it shouldn't be on the books for them. A conspiracy would be another side is saying that the United Nations is doing something with Agenda 21 and it's not verified with the organization itself. Then you have a point. Then you can say, well, it's people outside of the UN saying that, but I've never seen it. Can you show me more proof? Then I'd have been like, you're right. But I'm sitting here, this Negro trying to tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about. And nigga, I'm looking at the United Nations website. How that makes sense? And I'm only was getting offended because I know what the United Nations have done. That's not a positive organization.
What is wrong with disagree? What's wrong with someone having their own opinion? Someone having their own.
It's not even an opinion. I'm talking about conversation I had with a person. That's not an opinion. I never gave my opinion. They were doing that. They're the ones who would sit online for 30 hours opinionating.
Exactly.
That was the difference. I'm like, I'm not doing none of that.
I wasn't saying he was. No, I wasn't saying you had. No, I wasn't saying.
No, you didn't say that, but that's what Victor used to say. Victor prided himself in labeling other people's responses as opinions. No, bro, this is not an opinion. I don't come to your platform to talk about opinions. We're not discussing is the Cowboys better than the Raiders. Those are opinions. I always said that. When I showed up on people's channels, I brought facts. If we was talking about York and them, they go to videos. I'm not finna sit here and debate with somebody that's not your lane. Like I told him, there's certain things he know about politics that he knows. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you and try to force you to yield to something, and I don't know nothing about it. And that was the case. So, but I know that it's a spiritual thing too, and that was his spirit making those ridiculous rebuttals, and his spirit was only protecting the evil spirits in the UN and the evil spirits that's controlling Kamala and Biden. And that's, again, if anybody knew that, same thing like you got people out here now, they don't want to expose Puffy. They ain't defending them except Ray J reluctantly, but that's because Diddy done made some threats.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Ray J, is it his son? I think his son's a bit of a gangster, right?
Well, his sons, they mad at him because he was on this news network talking against Diddy. And they tried to jump him. They tried to jump him on this Halloween that passed. So it's just a lot. And now he's backtracking the stuff about what he said about Diddy and them.
Orlando Brown is saying he stole some money. I mean, he's a strange character. For myself, he just seems like a snake oil salesman, like a con artist.
He's caught and he's out there now in a daze, just like TD Jakes. They hear what's coming down the pipe, and so you're seeing all this.
He had a heart attack, didn't he?
Huh? No.
He had a heart attack.
I don't know what he had, but it was fake.
Or what he's had.
Because they're saying that the pastor Young, some other pastor, is saying some things against him that when he visited TD Jakes, he was sexual and stuff. And so the point is, they all know that they're gonna get it, and they're afraid of the judgment. That's it. It's nothing deep. It's evil at its time. You only can run so long until you get caught. Everybody don't get caught, but a lot of people do, and so we see that. The same thing with Diddy. Diddy was a Democrat. The same thing, and I was like when Kamala and them had the Democrat National Convention a couple of months ago, and she sat up there talking all this stuff about Trump, and even before that about it being a predator and all that stuff. Then you let Bill Clinton on stage represent y'all when he was on Epstein's plane multiple times on the flight logs, and he was a drug dealer before he became a president. When he was in Arkansas, was having people unalived and all that. The YouTube videos are still up when they did the investigation. Had a couple of young white boys unalived because they seen cocaine deals that he and his peoples was making.
Haiti as well.
Yeah, Haiti, and he was over the funding being distributed over there, and Hillary Clinton's brother had a organization over there that was extracting the gold out of Haiti. And so they decimated Haiti. But Victor Doom them talking about the Democrats and Biden and y'all insane. Y'all insane. If you're gonna be mad at Trump and he was hanging out with Epstein and y'all ain't got no proof, y'all got proof that Bill Clinton was on his island. And y'all didn't raise no hell about that. That's why I said y'all are idiots. You're mentally dead and you're idiots because you don't realize how stupid you look. If you're gonna vote, just vote. Or you get out there acting like a Democrat shield and the bodyguard and everybody that's not rolling with this party because of the certain things and the people that's in it. I say apply the same thing. If you think the GOP and the rest of them is full of ish because of Trump is involved, and what you should feel the same way about them other people on the Democratic side. Because you got Hillary is a known criminal amongst the Democrats. Mayorkas, the guy that's over the borders are. They was allowing these people to come in.
Is it Santos? What was the other guy we were bringing awareness about? Soros.
Yeah, Soros, his son, was hanging out with Kamala and them and her sister. They all these people. It's the same usual suspects.
They were attacking Judge Joe Brown. I mean, and yeah, maybe I was a little bit strong for my words in traitor, but I cannot. I think I cannot accept anyone can be pro for their country if they're not living in that country. We got to be real. If you leave your country, that means you've basically given up your citizenship. You shouldn't be able to vote if you're not in the country and you're not living there. How does that work?
But again, that's the foolishness. Now, unless, like you said, now if you're in the military and all that, you on a mission for your country, yeah. But if you go into a whole other country and you got dual citizenship, wherever you live at, you're supposed to be able to vote there. But they don't realize that this is the cracks in the way the country runs its politics and rules. Like I said, if you telling me it's illegal for people to come in here, that means it should be consequences. Biden made it no consequences. Like Trump said, they can't got a court date, stay in Mexico until it's time. Biden them let them come in, get caught, then release them on this side of things. So it's like you shouldn't even have nobody stop them. Why is ICE not able to do their job, or the Border Patrol? We catch them, bring them in, y'all tell them to release them, and then let them stay over here, and you don't even know where they're at. And they wandering around.
Criminal gangs, you know.
Right, they running around becoming part of gangs. Some have been forced into being gang members, and now they got to go out here and do all this crime. I got
absolutely
people, and again, China is giving these cartels and their members fentanyl. They putting it in everything. It ain't just the weed. They making fake pills. You know, they putting it in.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. All on car doors and car handles.
Again, our people, we don't have our own kind of department that, you know, gets all these drugs and tests them themselves, you know, protected environments where we are looking out for ourselves. We're just blindly going along, popping the pills. Oh, it's fine. It's not, you know, it's the government's put a stamp on it, so it's all good. I mean, it's just craziness.
I had a friend of mine just told me, like last week, that a girl we went to school with died because somebody gave her fentanyl when she was in the club.
Let's keep calm.
She didn't know it.
Oh, she thought it was like an ecstasy pill.
And she gone.
Well, he also got the pink cocaine as well, so that, you know, I think they got Puff Daddy with that. Everything's being cut with it now. You see, it's all being cut, and this is not conspiracy. This is a known fact. This is why Trump is. I mean, I have to salute the man, because again, I never once heard anyone speaking about the fentanyl crisis, which is gripping America and which is also gripping, which is going to spread across the globe. It is a biological weapon, right? Being used by China. Everybody knows that.
And they don't.
Because China is
right. In the same way, like Trump brought that up about the balloon that Biden let fly over America for about damn near a week before they shot it down, and they said that balloon had a special kind of camera that was taking photographs and whatever other technology they may have been doing. So when you look at all these things, you say this is what you call, they talking about a threat to democracy. You better worry about a threat to your life when you got somebody in a powerful position is allowing these people of another country to do these weird things. The same way Biden had gave China the power grid codes to Texas when it was a winter. And a lot of people froze and stuff. Yeah, and they asked him, why did he do that? And his press secretary, the Haitian chick, just gave some dumbass answer. It's like, y'all don't see this?
Is she from Haiti?
Yeah, she's Haitian. I don't know if she's from there, but she's Haitian. But the point was, these are the things that Victor Doom them didn't pay no attention to. This is, like I said, y'all not educated in the form of, if you claim to be pro-black, then you already have a certain stance, no matter what the situation is.
You can't be pro-black and, you know, into politics, man.
You can't you can't go hard and be pro-black.
That's right.
Because if you saying you're a Democrat, that's the party of inclusion. That's rainbow colors. That's everybody. There's no race pride in that. They hold up Democrat as their race. People who are not white. You understand? Especially black people. So when you're using your religion or your political party over what you are as an individual human being in your race, you already lost. So that's what I'm trying to say. I had my thing, and I said that a couple of times over there. The Victor Doom. And he kept asking me, I'm like, yo, I don't have no allegiance to neither side. And the reason I had to say that was based upon the knowledge and the information. You got one group that claims, oh, Republicans are white supremacy. But the Democrats, they deep state supremacy. And guess who is the leaders and rulers of the globalism? Caucasian people. But they will use other races to achieve this whole thing. You pro-black, but you involved in a group that you can't be pro-black and be a Democrat because it's going to contradict. You can't do it.
I was very surprised,
It's 300 million Americans, and a little over 100 people voted for both sides in this last election. Imagine if everybody was voting. It's still not equal.
I don't know. I mean, black people. I mean, we've got black people in politics in country. I mean, in a country where we're not.
We're not the majority. We're not the majority, but we use damn near 100%, or this country use 100% or 99% of our gifts and our inventions and talents. We contribute more to this country than anybody else when it comes to our intelligence and what we brought to the table for other people to strive and become and stay multimillionaires for generations. We do that. They don't give us credit for that. They'll say y'all the smallest percentage in America, but y'all do the most crime. Versus y'all the smallest percentage in America, but y'all have given us over 70, 80% of things that kept America going. America is great because of the stuff that non-white people have contributed to this country, whether it was through slavery and the inventions when we got out, and all of the things that our people have contributed to. We invented things that they still using today, and had they pressed that out there as much as they press genderism and, oh, you can't say he or you're male, you gotta say he, them, or they, and all that crap they pushing. If they push real reality, then the population will be able to see that we actually are doing more than they giving us credit for. And because of that, now you have to look at that. That means you can't trust everything that you're saying. You see? And for, I don't even understand, just like the Jews. The Jews get upset about anti-Semitism, but every other year y'all keep making a Hitler movie. They just got another movie they making about Hitler again. I just seen the trailer for it. So they always tell us to start talking about slavery, but they keep making movies to remind the United States about Hitler. But now they just make it from a different perspective. It may not be Hitler focused. It'll be somebody else that's got something against Hitler or work for Hitler. It's just always, but every other year you see slave movies and a movie about Hitler and JFK. Those be the top three. If you add another with niggas still being in the street shooting each other, you'll see those major four.
Yep, Tom. We need to. Yes. Big up Nebu. You need to look in the chat for 1 second there, Tom. Can you go through?
Okay, I see Nebu. Two piece Nebu. All right.
Yeah, shout out Nebu. Yeah, man. Rifleman. Yes.
Yeah, I seen what Brandon said. Yeah, none of that stuff is going to help them because the
hydroelectric dams.
Yeah. They think
that's gonna affect Egypt, and it's gonna affect also Ethiopia, isn't it? Also, dams are very dangerous, like what we've seen in Spain. Did you know? Someone said that Spain, the EU made Spain close their dams, so Spain had to close all their dams and that's why they had all that floods. Did you see the floods in Spain? By any chance?
That's a big mistake, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for myself, building dams and all that, that's going against nature, you know.
And they're trying to build it so they can control it. That's how you can tell who's doing what. You ain't Ethiopian, you're not African. Y'all shouldn't be doing nothing in nobody else's land. But that shows you who lacks resources. The nature books tell us the black race got the richest parts of the world because we need the most maintenance. That's because of us. We have the most everything. So we need a land, a continent that have all these different things to offer because we need it. Now you got another group of people who don't need all that. Number one, y'all don't got melanin. So you don't need vitamin D and all that stuff that keeps that stuff going. You don't need none of that. Y'all don't need those things, those nutrients. Y'all don't need that.
We're the custodians of the planet, right, huh? We're the custodians of the planet.
We grew the universes. We all the creators of this. The earth and them, all of the forces that they had to stay physical because we needed that. We had to come down here on the planet. They didn't get used up in the creation. That's why the suns and all that stuff exist. Some of that stuff had to stay in a form for us to be able to come to and manifest. But our race in the continent we come from, we have the most resources because we are the most abundant of the races. We out of all the human races, we the top. It's just the evolution put us at the bottom so other races can win. But when you look at all the things they've done to us to trap us and trick us to keep us under their feet, and they keep taking and taking, we're proving by you keeping us in bondage in multiple ways, and you still taking means that we have what it takes, that you have to take it like that. They don't have that where it come from. When you take every race back to their place of origin, y'all don't have it. Mankind, by origin, the Phoenician, the Mongolian, and the Indian, and the other races through race mixing, come from Java Island.
Right.
Now you compare Java Island. Right, so you compare Java Island and its surrounding islands with Africa. Yeah. It don't compare in size.
You can't compare Africa to nowhere.
That's what people need to understand.
But we don't. We have no race pride. We have no. You know, as you said correctly, we're
here has brought forth the things that were made to be hidden, and now people are starting to wake up and be more conscious. It'll be more conscious after the cataclysm because these negative forces and the gases, and we're still underneath these people, and the way they do things have to be reset. But it's the cataclysm. The reset is just another word for the cataclysm or a new heaven and a new earth. They negatizing it to make it feel like they got something going on. But they don't. They know it's over. And Noopooh is perfecting itself with the lies and deception. So the so-called elite is on their way out.
The end days of Noopooh.
Not the end of it. It's just it perfects itself at 3 South 63 years after 1962. Right. So its end is once you get up to 6 East.
So it's in its most powerful state basically now.
Yeah, right now it's in its most perfected and powerful state.
Perfected, right.
And the deception is and the deception and negativity is peaking. And it peaked. Most of it hit its peak right when before the cataclysm hit to knock it down. So, but it's already there as far as its politics because Biden and Kamala and them got exposed. And Biden set it up for the World War III. What he's been doing with Ukraine over the last 2 years. But people who can't see past Trump don't see that Trump wasn't giving. See, they say, Trump was cutting taxes for billionaires. So what the hell is Biden doing, cutting $1 billion for a whole nother country and giving them our money and then giving them weapons that can trigger a war? Now, if we're gonna compare both of those, the only thing you do is say, well, you don't think it's right that he's doing that, but somehow in the American system, they're allowed to do that. So we can't look at it as right and wrong. Now we got to look at it from which is more dangerous. You cutting billionaires taxes, but you ain't giving billions of our money to nobody, and you ain't giving weapons to a country that can't even stand up against the country they fight. Now you got to look at it from a different perspective. How stupid are you?
It's suicidal.
But this is what Victor Doom them they didn't take that in consideration. Why? Because you are not directly affected. Now
It's a crime against humanity.
but they don't
This is
care
what
about
they don't understand what
humanity.
they've done.
They don't care about humanity. They only care about Democrats. They only care about that. That's what they don't operate on the world stage mentally.
No.
And they don't operate in reality because we all can agree to an extent, but people don't understand what billionaires do. Billionaires in this world now, I don't like it, but this is what nature made it. Because people, when they run their own land and all that stuff, is better. But because the rich and capitalism exists, and you allow other money to come from outside or within to take land and then build cities and Las Vegas and all that stuff, these people have to get taxed by the government, and they giving people jobs. So they losing more money than the average person is because they build everything. Yeah. So that's how a guy who I work with at my job, who owned his own business, was explaining that to me. He said people don't understand that the ones who own stuff, they need tax breaks because they the ones who got to provide, they got to buy the land, they got to pay taxes on the land, then they got to get, they the ones who bring all the buildings, they pump money here, and they bring in opportunities and jobs. So that's what of course that makes sense. I'm not saying it's not about right or wrong.
On the economical level, if we're talking about economics.
Right, but when you're talking to the dummies who say that are the ones who don't own shit. That's why, he's gonna cut tax, and then you listen to Kamala, I'm gonna make the millionaires or the rich pay their part. They do pay their part. She wouldn't have a job as a lawyer to go to a building if that building wasn't bought by a multimillionaire or billionaire. All of these jobs that we have, unfortunately, are in these buildings and on properties that these people own, and they have to pay mad taxes for different shit, insurance, accidents that happen, all that stuff they have to do. So when you talk to these dummies, they say, nigga, what do you own? You don't own nothing, nigga. Why is you repeating talking points and you're not even in the tax bracket? You just pay taxes. You don't own nothing. What are you talking about? And that's how stupid the Democrats sound when they try to make it appear that a person who got billions is the problem. No, it's capitalism and the fact that these countries allow certain things to be built and owned by certain groups of people. Yeah. So it's a lot more. You want to blame one man, but the question is, how are they able to get tax breaks? It's one thing to say, I'm gonna give you a tax break, but they try to make it sound like, you my homie, so I'm gonna make sure you get a tax break. And that's not ultimately true. You have to look at the whole thing. And that's why I keep saying, that's like a broke nigga. Go ahead. Yeah, see, a broke nigga trying to have conversations with millionaires. You ain't got nothing, you can't relate. And every commercial I seen, Kamala and them kept putting that out there. It was a regular person who was probably somebody that was in the middle class complaining. That means you probably made $400,000 or less. And guess what? If you make $400,000, they taxing you. Guess that's who they tax when the president is in there. They tax the middle class. You can't tax the lower class because they living off the government and stuff and working 2-3 jobs. You can't. We already being taxed. Just going to the store and getting gas, you already get taxed. But the middle class get a different kind of tax. But guess what? They taxing you, but you still going on vacation to the Hilton and all that stuff. If y'all hated the billionaires so much, stop going to their resorts. Start going on cruises. You see, that's the intelligence.
Stop getting on the airplanes.
Right.
Stop driving the cars.
Right. They driving
the watches. Stop
they got the clothes. You see, y'all doing it. Y'all going to the same thing with that dude, Mark Cuban. Right? Mark Cuban endorsed Kamala, right? He put a couple of million behind him, right? And that's fine. That's who you wanna support. But then when you going extra and saying Trump is a threat to democracy, and the Hitler talk, he got exposed. No. Listen to this. He got exposed.
Character defamation.
Right, but listen, Trump is so dangerous, but yet he has a high-rise apartment in one of Trump buildings. You got a whole apartment living in a Trump. How that makes sense, fool?
Yeah.
You trust him with your money, though. This is the dumbness that people don't look at when you're talking about politics. And I told Victor Doom and the rest of them, follow the money. That's all you got to do. The stuff you hear me saying, I didn't have to go to the dark web. I didn't have to go pay a private investigator. I followed the money. I know how to read. I'm not biased. See, when you have an agenda and you bias, you're not going to look at the other side. And that's exactly why they lost, because they kept doing the same. They was doing wrong in the sun cycle. Y'all was harming millions. Y'all wronged the American people. So when Trump say y'all hate the American public, I have to look at it like this. Only way I knew if you liked me, if you wasn't bringing in millions of illegals and we struggling, you cutting $13,000 checks and giving pre-loaded debit cards, because Trump them cut that 50-something million pre-debit cards that they was giving out, because that didn't make no sense. How you can't like the American public.
Some people are suffering. American people are suffering.
Out veterans out of hotels to put migrants in, fought and survived fighting for the country.
Can you imagine?
What are you doing? So this is the stuff that they were doing. All you have to do is look at what they're doing. If me and you live in the house and we supposed to be family or cool, and then I bring in some outsiders and get them your bed and say you gotta go, how are you gonna feel?
Well,
After me, you don't want the bad.
I'm not gonna feel no love talk. You know,
that's what I'm
gonna
saying.
feel.
This is what Victor Doom them did not address. This is what the people were saying all over.
Well, Kamala never addressed it.
They never.
Kamala never once.
Right,
Biden never done it. For 4 years they were in charge. 4 years.
She didn't address this year when the gangs were taking over apartment buildings like New Jack City. Y'all, the footage, I put it on my YouTube. A lady was filming them going knocking on people's doors with guns and putting them out. And
what happened to us now? They silenced us.
Right.
They got rid of my channel. Right.
Yeah.
So we were. I mean, honestly, that was actually an attack on free speech.
And an attack on correct information. And this is what they don't understand. Kamala, by her not speaking out against that or saying, well, she couldn't sign nothing, but if she did that, she could say, I'm not in line with all this stuff that Biden is doing. I'm not cool with all these illegals coming. But she kept saying that every decision that they made, she was the last one to leave the room. So she the one who kept saying, basically, I was the deciding vote for these bad things that's happening to y'all. Because she never.
Do you remember the picture of her on the plane signing a document? Do you remember that one? That medium moment. I don't know if it happened during the elections.
I think I seen her, and she had like I think she had an earpiece
on a private jet.
It was I seen that. I can't remember what it was, but the whole thing was, I even had a joint where she had an earpiece in and she was talking to some people and she said, "Oh, hold on for a minute." And she went to her earpiece. They said, "Okay, so you want me to say this? You want me to say that?" That's like all this fugazi stuff that was coming out. I didn't really care because I knew that it was fun. It was just funny putting up certain stuff, but she did do a lot of things, and she got a deal with Planned Parenthood, and that's why she's pushing abortion rights, because Planned Parenthood was funding her and giving her money when she was running when she was a prosecutor and when she went to as Attorney General. And a white guy who exposed what Planned Parenthood was doing, they went to Kamala and they raided his house and took his video footage of him exposing Planned Parenthood and the abortions. But he said he had backup copies and he still put it out. So she's in the bed with Planned Parenthood, which is about destroying
the family
familyhood. How she went to Chicago with a bus and had abortion and stuff on it. Right. But she didn't do that for nobody other people she was catering to.
What about the lynching bill? You forgot about the lynching bill? Let's just bring that one up as well.
I think I heard about it, but I don't remember
they added like the LGBT to as a hate crime.
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Do you remember that one, Tal?
I remember it, but I know lynching was something somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But like I said, they did everything wrong, and that's why they lost, because they were following an agenda that their bosses were telling them to do, and that's why they lost. The people who was blinded by Kamala's light skin, because she was not dark skinned, they wanted to act like this. Again, it's not fair.